I'll have you know, I've got some really beautiful lights on right now, all of which you can see none of because I chose. Oh, wait, you can kind of see that one. There, it's heart shaped. All of which you can see none of because I chose to do this shot, but you know what? That's okay. Alrighty, so you guys, I saw Twisters. I don't know how long I want to make this vid. It's not even 11 yet, but maybe it'll be kind of long. Anyway, I was a little bit late to this video, to this movie. I'm early as fuck to this video. You're welcome. But I was a little bit late to this movie because it was an early screening. And I guess I always forget that in early screenings, the actual movie starts at the time they say it's going to start. That's not when they roll the previews, that's when the actual movie starts. But I was less than I think I was less than 5 minutes late into the movie. Um, I was, yeah, I got in. But you know what? Because of that, I think I was actually in a better mood, honestly. Because then I walked right into the movie. And I'm usually in a worse mood because I mean, how can you not be in a worse mood when you're forced to watch 25 minutes of commercials? Like how would that improve your mood is my question. So I saw none of that and I just walked into the movie and I was like, okay, I'm in a better mood this time. Anyway, this movie was interesting. At the very beginning we saw some people doing like I don't know if you guys seen the original Twisters movie that came out in 1995, 1986, around there. But this is I don't know if I would say it's a sequel, but it's the first one was called Twister and this one's called Twisters. Okay. Bill Paxton was in the first one. R.I.P. We love him. He's no longer with us. Wasn't that him? Pretty sure that was him. Anyway, yeah. So we got into this movie already. Like I should have known going into this that there was going to be stuff in this that would piss me off. I really should have known that because, as a matter of fact, everyone, I actually grew up in tornado country. I grew up in Wisconsin, which is technically tornado country. Luckily, uh, where I lived, we didn't ever get really, really bad ones. They're a lot worse in like Nebraska, Kansas, Iowa, because they have so little elevation change there that the winds are really fucking strong. We'll get into some tornado stories in a moment, but there's only one tornado I recall actually hitting my hometown while I was living there. That was when I was in high school. I don't think anyone was killed. I don't know that anyone was hurt. It the tornado ruined some people's roofs and it also downed some trees, but it wasn't anything crazy. I mean that was like the worst one that actually hit. But the thing is that you don't always know, like there'll be a tornado warning for your area, but you don't know if it is in fact going to hit your area or it's just in danger of hitting your area, but regardless, you got to take shelter is the point. Um that was some scary shit growing up, okay, for real. Like the tornado sirens are terrifying. They sound horrible. They even look scary. And then like, hurrying into the fucking basement with all your pets is scary too, especially as a little kid. I remember seeing the preview for the first Twister movie when I was a kid, and I couldn't handle it. I was like, that's way, way too scary. I'm gonna stay away. I think we watched it in school. I feel like we watched it in I think we watched it in middle school. Back to the movie. Um, so at the very beginning, we see a little motley crew of people who are like the, tornado chasers. And they're trying to do research, and then it turns out that they're too close to the tornado. They're like, oh no, we gotta take cover. And then so because all they have is a car, right? You're not supposed to stay in your car when there's a tornado that's too close to you. But so one thing that pissed me off, and this was like one of the first fucking lines of the movie, which was, so they needed to find shelter. They were far from shelter, and they were like, come on, we gotta go. One of them was like, we gotta go to the overpass. And then the main gal, I think it was the main gal, she was like, no, overpasses are the worst for tornadoes. Actually, if you're driving in a place with little to no shelter that you can't get to quickly, you're supposed to go to an overpass. You're supposed to get the fuck to an overpass, get out of your car, go up to the overpass where the overpass meets the ground and the road, because they're pretty strong. You fucking hide in there and just hope to God that you don't get swooped up by a tornado. So that pissed me off that she was like, no, overpasses are the worst in tornadoes. No, you're fucking better off in an overpass hiding than you are in your car. Putting that out there. This is a safety tip for everyone who's never been in tornado country. But she was wearing booty shorts, which was real stupid because she got her leg gouged. And she was like, and then because she was like she couldn't pull her friend up. Her friend with a weird fucking name, the one who was in she in Mad Men. The what's her name? Sally? She's the daughter in Mad Men. Kirka? Her name was like Kirka Shipka or something. Anyway, she died. Bro, that pissed me off too. I almost forgot to talk about this, but she was wearing glasses, okay? Shipka gal was wearing glasses. Oh my gosh, I've got rowdy cats. I fed them not that long ago, but now, of course, they're being rowdy again. She's wearing glasses, and she's wearing thin glasses, which, like, the reason that people don't wear glasses in movies, they tend not to put people in glasses in movies, and if they do, they don't have lenses in them, is because it's so hard to match the lighting properly. And you're always doing different cuts and stuff, you're doing different angles and stuff, so it's just sort of a nightmare to get the proper lighting on glasses. I guess people just don't have time for that shit anymore, because Alfred in the original Batman series on the TV one, he wore really thick glasses and they could handle it, but I digress. Her glasses are really thin. You guys, I do all kinds of stuff because I generally wear glasses all the time. Like, I do have contacts, but I don't like them as much as glasses. And, like, my glasses are actually they're pretty significant. Y'all, if y'all are actually my fan, you're gonna know that about me. But I was watching this one gal who made vids, and she was like, if I wore glasses, I would do this. And it was all these scenes of her being like, my God, that's an increase of over 10,000%. I'm like, you better be wearing some really fucking thin glasses to be able to do that shit, because I don't take these off for any reason other than to go to sleep or to shower. I'm not doing, my God, that's an increase of over 10,000 because can't see. But anyway, she had these thin ass glasses that were decreasing her visibility because they were getting all fogged up and gross. Which maybe that was the reason that she passed away in the tornado. But anyway, so that was kind of annoying. But yeah, they had to establish this like tragic beginning for the main gal, whose name was Kate. And then of course, so it was all traumatic and scary and sad because her boyfriend died and her friend died, and she got her leg gouged out, not gouged, but like she got a really bad cut on her leg because some debris like flew into her leg because moron was wearing booty shorts to chase tornadoes. Anyway, you want to wear a little bit more practical clothing for that, just like putting that out there. Yeah, so then she was all sad and stuff, and then it was like 5 years later, which is not a lot of time. Just, I want to say that it's not a lot of time. Honestly, as soon as I saw this gal, I was like, I had seen her somewhere before, the main gal, Kate. I was like, I had seen her. I don't know where I've seen her before, but I've seen her before somewhere else. And immediately, I was like, she better not be English. Because I was just getting an English vibe from her. Her accent was great. She did mess up a little bit at one point, which, like, I'm the only person apparently who is able to decipher these things. I don't think most people are intelligent enough or observant enough to notice when someone's inflection is English instead of American. But forget about her accent, dude. It was her demeanor. She had that nice little, like, anemic look of, like, an English person also. But, like, I don't know why, if you're trying to make this movie all like America, which it was, like, we have scientists come here from all over the world to study tornadoes specifically because we've got some of the best tornadoes out there, baby. I don't know if that's something to brag about, but it's just a fact. But I'm like, why would you cast this cute English gal to play this all American gal from Oklahoma? Because I can tell she's English as fuck and not American. It's not just how she looks. I mean, it's kind of how she looks, obviously, but like her demeanor was English AF. I think Americans are just a lot more expressive. Case in point. But seriously, I'm like, why the fuck would you cast an English person to play someone so goddamn American? Please explain it to me. I also knew she was English because her name was Daisy. Not that Americans aren't named Daisy, but like, it's a more English name, more England English. But anyway, I really liked that Javi was more normal looking. He was cute, but he looked normal, which I appreciate because I wish they would cast more normal looking people. So maybe Javi was a step in the right direction, and maybe let's hope that more people casted are more normal looking and not always super squeaky clean, shiny, beautiful, which honestly is getting real fucking old. I don't know about y'all, but I feel like I got tired of that shit like many years ago. I was like, why is everyone so fucking beautiful? Like, this is bothering me. Anyway, oh, okay. So anyway, Kate goes somewhere else to work in like New York City, far away from those tornadoes in Oklahoma, and so then her friend Javi shows up and he's like, Kate, I've got new tools that we didn't have last time. Like, can't you come chase the tornadoes? And they go to a cafe and they're talking about it and stuff. And then and she's like, no, I'm not doing that. And then, like, this is people do this all the time in movies and it legitimately pisses me off, okay? And I don't fucking care. And I think everyone ought to know that this is stupid. So she was like, no, I'm not doing that, blah, 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 at this cafe. And then he was like, yeah, okay. And then she got up. They were sitting at a table, as people do in cafes. She got up, she went to the door. And then across the fucking cafe, it was small, but still, Javi was like, hey, Kate. Like, after she was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. He was like, hey, Kate. You ever wonder why it was us who made it out that time? I'm like, you wouldn't say that across a fucking room in a public place, but I guess this guy Javi does. Anyway, okay, so it was interesting that they had this like antagonist that was a YouTube star. It was Glenn Powell, Cutie Pie. And his like team. At one point, I thought it was funny because one of the guys on his team was like, "Yeah, we're on the YouTube," and I say that to be annoying because people don't say that, but maybe he was saying that to be annoying. We're on the YouTube, but he was sort of the antagonist, but also like, so she was talking about him. She was talking about his name was Tyler in the movie, the Tornado Wrangler. To her original guy that recruited her. Obviously, she was like, okay, yeah, I'll do it. wouldn't it be funny if she was like, no, and then the movie's only like 15 minutes long? She's like, nope, I'm not doing that. Bye. Roll credits. Okay, but so yeah, he was the antagonist. This guy Tyler, the tornado wrangler, was the antagonist, and it was funny because like, uh, that's not really an antagonist. You know, I mean, it sort of is, but it sort of isn't. But I just like that he wasn't like, uh, this evil guy, blah blah. Oh, he sucks. It was like, no, he just has a different tactic entirely, which isn't evil per se, but it. I thought he was a great character. Seriously. Um. Oh yeah. So when Javi was explaining to Kate who the Tyler character was, the tornado wrangler, he said they're just a bunch of hillbillies with a YouTube channel. And I was like, who the fuck wouldn't want to watch hillbillies with a YouTube channel though? Because like I want to watch that. That sounds really entertaining. Um, but he was trying to make it sound like bad. Anyway, there's this one part. So she was back about to chase a tornado, and I don't know why it's so popular because it is so popular. This is also a shitty writing choice. To have characters talk to themselves. You guys, I don't talk to myself. Like really, I don't do that. I'm not like, come on, Leah, you've got this. I don't do that to me. But at one point, she was like, she had all this like PTSD because her three fucking friends died in a tornado 5 years prior. But she was like, come on. So she was like, about to go chase this tornado, was feeling nervous about it, and she was like, come on, Kate, you've got this. That would have been a really great opportunity instead of her talking to herself, her like having some PTSD flashbacks, some like tornado, her friends dying flashbacks is what I mean. But opportunity missed. Um there was a lot there were a lot of continuity errors in this movie, and I think I'm one of the only people who notices this type of thing because of the amount of shit that I watch. But there were just a lot of cuts that went from like the scene at the gas station where Kate is meeting Tyler, the tornado wrangler. Um, there were a lot of cuts where like they were talking and the sky was cloudy, and then they were talking like there were people talking right here and the sky was cloudy, and there were people talking right here and the sky was sunny, and then they would go back to the people talking right here and the sky was sunny, but then they'd go back to the people right here and the sky was cloudy. Dude, it's hard though. It's really hard to match that up properly, but like I feel like there could have been a little bit more effort there. But here's the thing that pissed me off even more, because that's you can't predict the sky and you can't always line up sky shots properly. I'm more forgiving of that than this thing that I'm about to say, which is like also at the very beginning when Javi was like a few miles away and he was like talking to people on the walkie-talkie system, and then they were the ones that got killed were the ones that were like chasing the tornado, which tends to happen when you chase tornadoes. Just putting that out there, you tend to get into extremely dangerous situations, and sometimes you can't get out of them, which is why I don't chase tornadoes. But anyway, so he was like a couple miles away talking to them on the walkie-talkie, and they were over here chasing the tornado. But the guy Javi, talking to them on the walkie-talkie, was like, there was like no wind. Like he was outside, like sitting in, it's like, his sitting with the open door of a van, hair not blowing, grass not blowing, nothing in the wind, nothing in the car moving. And he was just like, blah, blah, blah. And actually, when you're talking on a walkie-talkie and there is extreme wind like that, that's going to fuck with the sound. But it was just like calm and cool and totally fine, which is totally inaccurate for any type of tornado happening. You guys, I was in Massachusetts in 2003 when there was Hurricane Charlie had either just happened or was happening in Florida. Okay, so I was on the east coast of Massachusetts when this fucking giant hurricane was hitting Florida. I don't know how many miles away that is, but it's over 1,000. And the waves activity at the beach that I went to in Massachusetts was really fucking different, because that's how far the waves reach, the winds reach, right? They can go that far. They can reach that far. They can, or if not necessarily like reach that far, but like if there's this giant tornado happening here, sorry, a giant hurricane happening here, like couple days later, yeah, you're gonna fucking feel it in Massachusetts and Maine. Okay? So there's no fucking way that we would have had a guy 5 miles away with zero wind when there were his friends chasing tornadoes nearby. That was dumb. But that kept being an ongoing thing. Is like they would like stop and the grass would be still. Like they would stop and get out of their cars and the grass would be still. I'm like, the grass apparently only moved when it was relevant to the plot where the tornado was going. So that was dumb. Again, I know you can't do everything, but we have fans, okay? Y'all could have gotten some industrial fans. Don't be stew. I guess it probably would have messed with the sound, but guess what? I don't care, because that was annoying to me. Again, I'm probably one of the only people to notice this, but actually that's not even true, because probably a lot of people who live in and around Tornado Valley, Tornado Country are going to watch this movie. And we're going to be like, bruh, there's no wind? They're like not even fucking a mile from the tornado. They're not even 5 miles from the tornado, and there's no fucking wind. Are you kidding me? Stew. That was a mistake. That was a big mistake. There were some there were a fair amount of like continuity errors. I guess that was probably the script supervisor's part, but like that shit pissing me off. There's at one point where Tyler was like drinking a Budweiser. It was like at the hotel he was drinking a Budweiser, and it showed him like pulling like 1 second he was like one scene he was like pulling it up to his face like a taking a sip, but then like next scene it was like completely out of his hand. Whatever. Okay, I'm nitpicking at this rate. Um, I noticed when she went to the rodeo, her accent got a lot more southern, and that's funny because when English folk are learning to do an American accent, they'll actually often learn to do a southern accent because it's easier for them to do. It's easier to do a more extreme one like that, but it would have been realistic. But I knew you were English, Daisy. I knew. I could tell. Anyway, also, like, they were a lot of places in this movie, and they're, like, in tornado country, okay, when there weren't tornado shelters. There were just no, there were just no tornado shelters to be found. The fact of the matter is that most places in the Midwest, most, like, big places in the Midwest, anywhere there's going to be a general collection of people, like, there are tornado shelters. Okay. Now I haven't spent a lot of time in Oklahoma, and I know they're really poor out there, but like maybe they don't have tornado shelters everywhere, but this was borderline ridiculous. Like if you go to the O'Hare airport, there's a tornado shelter. I remember at the zoo that I went to in my hometown also had a tornado shelter. Just anywhere, like, and you'll just be like walking on the street in any of these towns, and you'll like see signs that say tornado shelter because you need to have them. But I guess it was convenient for movie purposes that there just weren't any tornado shelters anywhere to be found. And it had to be, that's more dramatic, right? It's more dramatical if you can't find one and you're just SOL. I'll tell you guys some stories about tornadoes. So I had a teacher in third grade. I don't know where she grew up, but wherever she grew up, there were tornadoes there. Could have been Wisconsin. That's where we were. Um, she said this was crazy, bruh. So, a tornado hit her family's house. I don't think it ruined the house, but it did, like, I think it broke the windows and moved a lot of stuff in the house. So, she said that there was a typewriter, like, in her brother's room. There was a typewriter, which are really heavy. You know, those are like, I don't know how much they weigh, but they weigh a lot. Okay, so there's a typewriter that got like thrown across the room by this tornado. But in the same room that her brother had, he also had like a stack of comic books, like, you know, just stacked up like on a desk, probably near the typewriter for that matter. And the tornado threw the fucking typewriter across the room, but the stack of comics was untouched. Wild. Tornadoes do some crazy shit. I also heard about, like, I mean, if something is moving so fast, it can do really crazy things. Like, I also heard about single, like, what is it called? Single piece of straw, like, go through a brick, like, penetrate a fucking brick, go through it completely, because it was moving that quickly. And straw is actually really hard. Honestly, when I was driving across the country one time, I think a piece of straw, there was like a truck, big truck in front of me, big semi holding hay, straw. There's a ton of wind around. And I don't know if it was a pebble or a piece of straw, but it could have been either. And we were both, so in addition to there being a bunch of wind, there was, we were going fast. You know, we were going over 50 miles per hour on the road. Piece of straw, like, struck my windshield and chipped it. Could have been a rock. Or it could have been a pebble with a piece of straw, but, like, either way, I got a chipped windshield from that. It's just crazy what tornadoes can and can't do. And, you know, this movie did get some feels out of me. It really did. But I feel like that was more because I grew up in tornado country. I don't think I would have gotten the feels had I not grown up in tornado country. I feel like if I hadn't, I just would have been like, oh yeah, that's cool. I'm like, oh yeah, okay. You know, luckily a lot of people grew up in tornado country. I really did enjoy the Tyler character. He was a lot of fun. He had a fucking truck. He had this giant truck. I was like, I saw the truck and it had all this tornado shit equipped on it. I was like, Kate's gonna need that truck later. And sure enough, she did. But his truck had like drills attached to it that were supposed to stabilize his truck in the event of a tornado. I was like, that's clever and fun. But those would definitely be able to get into a dirt road, no problem. A dirt or gravel road, no problem. But not so much concrete. Just putting that out there. Anyway, okay, another thing that was fucking dumb was like, and this is also just a stupid error. So there's one part where, like, they're in a movie theater, of course, and a tornado comes and fucks it all up, and then once the tornado passes, people are like getting up and stuff, and they're like, oh, are you okay? Are you okay? And so this tornado has come and ripped walls off of the theater, ripped seats out of the fucking ground, out of the floor, torn up the screen, right? And these people are getting up and they're like squeaky clean. No debris on their hair, no dust on their hair, nothing. Like, no cuts on their faces or anything. I'm like, it's so annoying when these things that you could fake that. It's not hard, fam. You can throw some friggin' dust on people and give them fake cuts and shit, or mess up their hair. It's so annoying to me when like that type of thing is not followed through. Like, yeah, it looks stupid as fuck when there's a tornado nearby and other people are not in the direct line of fire of the tornado, but they're just in like zero wind. Like, that looks stupid. That looks unbelievable. You know what I mean? But I feel like that kind of thing just happens all the time, and it does in fact bother me. And I've been being a cock in this whole video, being like, I'm sure I'm the only person who's noticed, but I'm sure I'm not. like like any person from fucking Nebraska, Iowa, Kansas, Wisconsin, Illinois, Michigan, Minnesota are gonna notice that kind of thing because they've all experienced tornadoes. Putting that out there. Okay, let me give you a rating. So I like this movie. I was entertained and it was fun. I wouldn't say it was like I know I always say this, wouldn't say it was any groundbreaking cinematic masterpiece, but yeah, it was a fun movie. So, being me, first I'm going to tell you my average moviegoer opinion. Average moviegoer rating, I would give this movie, I want to say a 6 or 7 out of 10. I actually talked to this other guy who really liked movies one time, and he was like, I think I should do a rating that's 7 out of 10. That way, you can't give it 50%. You know what I mean? You either have to give it less than 50% or more than 50%. I'm not going to think about that right now because I didn't think about my rating, what that would have been before this. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to give it a 6 to 7 out of 10 because the production value on this was pretty high. And do I want to watch a tornado movie? Yeah. Do I think the average person who goes to see movies wants to watch a tornado movie? Yes. Okay, and yes, there's, even though we did some stupid shit of not showing wind when there ought to have been some, still fun to watch. Being me, I'm gonna give it. What am I gonna give it? I'll give it a 4 to 5. 4 to 5 out of 10. And a reason I'm gonna say 4 to 5 and not just 4 is because I did really thoroughly enjoy the character of Tyler. He was cool. Like, I feel like so many movies don't really make an effort to make really memorable characters, which is really a mistake. But Tyler was very memorable, a lot of fun, very hokey, but still believable, right? And of course, being me, I'm kind of mad about the English gal who is cast to play an American. Listen, I'm not saying that's all bad, okay? Chill out. I'm just saying, like, if you want to be all yay Team America and inspire other people to be like, yeah, fuck yeah, Team America, because that's how I was feeling after this movie. You probably want to use you want to use an American person. Want to use a real American to play a real American character. Putting that out there. Is that all I want to say? That's all I want to say. Bye.